session. Councilor Lovejoy Grinnell.
This
I
member's
know,
ready.
let you catch your breath.
It's ready.
It's ready, thank you. I have item 9, and I'm going to call that one ready. Councilor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 10 through 18. These items are ready. We discussed them at the last study session, but we have representatives here to discuss any of them that any councilors have questions on. Okay, they're ready.
Thank you. Councilor Rudd.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 19 through 22. Item 19, I'm going to hold, and we're going to have all the water rate changes go through at the same time in our next session. 20 and 21 are ready. 22, Mary, do you want to? I mean, you can come up, but this is the transfer of funds, so it's realizing revenue that came in for the year that, by my count, is like 10.5 out of 12 done. So I don't know. I basically plan to hold it because I don't want to increase the overall spending level when I think we should be adjusting down the use of the fund balance. So if that means we don't recognize the revenue, then so be it. I think we should do it so that we're not increasing the total level of spending for the year when we know we're not going to spend all the money that we already authorized. So go ahead and.
These companies gave us the money to spend on these specific items. So in the terms of the police body cameras, the state Senate gave us the $300,000 to purchase the body cameras. I have to increase that revenue to increase that expenditure line so that they can actually put a requisition in to buy the body cameras.
Why not reduce the use of the fund balance since we know we're not going to spend all that we approved?
This
A
is
year
a
ago.
current year expenditure, current year revenue. Fund balance relates to prior years. The fund balance is as of June 30th, 2018. This revenue came in 19. The expenditure should be in 19. It should not be an allocation of prior year's fund balance.
It's in the current year. It's in the year we're in right now.
Correct.
Right. But, and the current year, we authorized like 11 million of fund balance use, right?
That's a budgeted amount. That's not an account.
It's a budgeted amount, but could you spend 12 million if you wanted to?
I don't think that's what you want to do.
I don't think that's what I want to do, but I'm just making the point that we tell you how much of the fund balance you can spend, and now that I'm gonna hold this item. I'm happy to, other people, do you have questions?
Yeah, I think that this item needs to move. I've spoken with Mary about it, and this is, we're getting this from the state, and that the state is giving us the money that we had asked for. So I don't see the reasoning. I understand where you're coming from, Counselor, and I understand your concerns. I think that's something you need to work out over time here, that you have been, but relative to this particular item, I think it should move.
Any other questions or comments? I'm going to hold the item. Thank you.
Councilor Green.
So could I ask before, what, does that do anything to the funding? Does that? We're not
You want to give the $300,000 back to the Senate? It's state aid money. It's coming in. I mean, they're asking us to spend this specifically on police body cameras. And if Chief Buckner is here, anybody from the police department, I would ask you to come up and talk about the purchase of police body cameras.
We really don't need a speech on the police body cameras. We need you to do a budget transfer instead of a budget increase. All it is a budget. It says budget transfer. It should be a transfer. I don't need to increase the amount of money we spend almost 11 months into the year. I appreciate the money, but we're not going to use all the fund balance. Just do a budget transfer. I'm going to hold the item. Thank you.
Councilor Green.
Hey, can I,
Hang on.
sorry, but how does this play out? If potentially, Mary, can you explain how this plays out? I would just like
Well,
to.
the state gave us this money specifically to buy police body cameras. The marshal, the owners of the marshal gave us the specific money to reimburse the fire department for all the overtime that was spent on the fire watch up there. So we have to spend the money as it was intended. So in order to do that, I don't have budget line items, especially for the fire overtime of $525,000 to move right now. We're in a tight budget year. It's tight. So I don't know how to get money to the police that the state senate has asked us last September, gave us the cash to spend the money on the cameras.
So without moving this, that would eliminate the money for the cameras and the overtime for fire without this transfer?
Well, right now, fire is over budget because of overtime, because of this specific situation.
I mean, what should happen is that you go back and you do a transfer, because you said we're going to spend 11 million of the fund balance, and the last time you gave us an update, we're only going to spend half of that.
Because we had revenues that we did not count on, which was sales tax. And in order to have a balanced budget, I have to increase the revenues to increase the expenditures so they can pay for it, so they actually can buy it.
Councilor Green.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 23 to 28. Item 23 will be held. Item 24 is ready. Item 25 will be held. Item 26 is ready unless there's further questions. Item 27 is ready unless there's further questions. And item 28 is ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Carney.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 29 and 30. Those are both ready unless there are any further questions.
Thank you. Councilor Lovejoy Grinnell.
Thank you, Madam President. Item number 31 is ready.
Thank you. Councilor Allen.
Thank you. I have items 32 through 69. Items 32, 33, and 34 are ready. Item 35 is held, and 36, Councilor Carney?
I just ask that we hold all the first district ones for one more meeting.
Okay. And I think I'm seeing Patty. Would you be able to come up for a second? Hi. In regards to item 37, the address is 219, 221 Delaware Street. Is this the guy, did he come in the office this week?
Oh, yeah, he did come into the office this week, but he tried to get in a tax trust, but he owes another property that's tax delinquent and a water bill. So he's going to try to work on them and try to pay it monthly, like the liens down per month that he has on 219 Delaware. He's in the process of rehabbing it, so once it gets rehabbed, he'll be able to rent it out and have more income.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I'm gonna hold that one. While you're here, so you don't have to come back up, I'm gonna jump over, and I'll come back. I'm gonna jump over to item 47. That's 113 Malcolm Street.
$113 Malcolm?
Yeah, did he come in, and do you guys know if he came in and paid? It says paid minimum balance.
No, I don't know for sure if he came in. I'll have to check.
Okay. All right, so I'll hold that as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going back to item 38. So 38 will be held, 39 is held, 40 is held, 41 is ready, 42 is ready, 43 is held, 44 is held, 45 is held, 46 is ready, 47 is held, and 48 through 51 will hold.
For District 2,
Yep, which one?
50.
Mm-hmm.
You can move that one.
Okay.
53.
Okay, hold on one second. 52 withdrawn.
53
Is ready.
is ready. 57 is ready.
Oh, hold on one second, I'm gonna go in order. 54 is ready.
I gotta go back now.
55 is withdrawn. 56 is held. 57 is ready.
Correct.
Okay. 58,
Ready,
59,
ready,
60 is held. 61 is ready. 62 is ready. 63 is ready.
Counselor, sorry to interrupt you. I think there might be new information on 62 and 65, if you wouldn't mind calling.
So you want to hold 62?
I'm not sure. I wondered if there was more information to be reported from
Okay.
Patty or somebody else. Could someone else?
Callie?
Haley? My understanding is that some of those homeowners did make payments in the last 7 days. Do you have any updates on that?
I haven't pulled the balances. I could,
Okay.
and it is updated nightly.
Okay, so you don't have updated numbers since the last study session?
Not
Okay,
immediately.
Okay. Then I guess we'll have to hold those.
You want to hold it?
Thank
Okay.
you.
So we'll hold 62 and 63?
And 64 and 65.
Okay.
Please, thank you. I
Yeah.
know that there were payments made on 2, and I don't know which 2, so I don't want to move forward yet.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll hold 62, 63, 64, and 65. 66. Counselor Thompson?
66 is not mine, is it? Second? Let's see, which one that one's. Yes, that one's ready too.
Okay. 67 is ready. 68.
Would you hold that as well, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
And 69 is ready. I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Driscoll.
Thank you, Madam President. Number 69 is a resolution supporting the Carbon Dividend Act, H.R. Bill 763. That item's ready, and if any of my fellow councilors would like to be co-sponsoring the bill, please let me know. Green, Thompson,
Sure.
Bren? Cool.
All righty. Counselor Thompson.
Yes, Madam President, I have item 71, which is a waiver item for the fire department for reimbursement for hazmat training. Any questions? We have the fire chief here. Okay, that's all set.
Thank you.
Additional information. Joe Barry, First Assistant Corporation Counsel. In terms of the fund transfer, I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly, but in order to appropriate additional funds from fund balance, it's not an account. It's set aside as fund balance, and therefore it requires a local law that changes the current year's budget. It would be a budget amendment through a local law. In such
You say that again?
Fund balance exists outside of the city budget, except to the extent the current year's budget has already appropriated it. If additional fund balance is required, it needs a local law to appropriate that additional amount, and it requires the consent of the mayor. It's not a veto override situation. So if the mayor agrees, a local law can be done appropriating additional fund balance for a particular item.
I don't want to appropriate more, I want to appropriate less. I want the budget, the revenue portion that is appropriated from the fund balance in the current year to go down because we've gotten all this other money. So the total number stays the same.
Well, that operates automatically if additional revenue comes in. At the end of the year, on July 1st, you have planned to use a certain amount of fund balance. On June 30th, at the close of the fiscal year, if additional revenues come in, as I believe Mary indicated, using the sales tax as an example, those additional revenues can be used to offset the use of fund balance.
Right. Why wouldn't you adjust down the use of the fund balance then in the budget?
The final budget numbers, my understanding is, will reflect a balanced budget with all the revenue taken into account as of June 30th.
And would this differ in that it wasn't anticipated that the fire department would be working $700,000 in overtime for this project? And if a grant is applied for, and sometimes from the state, we don't know about those for a year plus. I mean, does that change this? Because I just don't see how, if we're waiting for state money to come in, how we then change the fund balance and everything else. I mean, it's like it's in and out.
There's no legal problem with using additional revenues that
If you got
materialize.
additional revenue on July 2nd, then it would be a different situation because you wouldn't know that you're not going to use all the fund balance, but it's not July 2nd, it's almost the end, it's the late May. So we know we're not going to use all the fund balance that we appropriated, so all I'm saying is why don't we reduce that number to reflect the projections that we actually have, instead of just saying, oh, well, maybe we still need it, when we don't.
Well, those final adjustments are made, and I'll defer to the budget director, because it's getting a little beyond the law, but my understanding is those final adjustments are made as of after June 30th, when all the revenues and expenditures are accounted for. So you have extra revenue, whether it's state aid or extra state sales tax that wasn't anticipated. You could also have expenditures that never materialized that were planned for, and for whatever reason, say our health expenses didn't turn out to be as much as we anticipated a year ago, then the health line would be less expenditure than originally planned.
That's fine,
So
but
it all
since
balances
everybody's going
out.
to keep talking about it, I'll keep talking about it too. So the mid-year transfer came on this book months ago, mid-year, more than halfway through the year, and we all seemed to think it made sense that it was a mid-year, that it seemed like an increase at that time, and we wanted an actual transfer. Now this is a component of that I said no to, that we took back. It's a component that's more compelling, I agree, but at the same time, why can't we just do a transfer? Why can't we just...
Well,
This is wonky.
it is a transfer between
But it,
accounts
puts,
that
it keeps the fund balance still at 11 million and makes it so we're authorized to spend more because this more money came in. Why can't we just reduce the use of the fund balance that we know we're not going to use? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to hold it. You guys
and
can work me
that'll
offline.
happen
That's
automatically, is
fine.
my
Work
point.
with me.
At the end of the day, we will not overspend the budget, because that can only be done through a local law.
Okay.
So that's not gonna affect 71, right? Be able to move 71, that's not gonna affect that one, is it? Because that's for the fire overtime.
I mean, we could always move the money later. I'm going to hold it for 2 weeks. Let's talk about it next time.
This is separate.
Okay,
That's separate money.
thank you. With that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?